Hello everyone and welcome to the Coldcast. I'm your host, Dr. Anna Johnson, and today I'm here with Ravi Balike. He's the Senior Manager of Data Engineering here at US Cold, and he is hiring. So today we're going to talk to him about what makes US Cold a great place to work, what kind of roles that he has and what opportunities he has, and then why you would want to apply for these jobs. So we'll just get started. So when you think about, how long have you been at US Cold, first of all?
Yeah, hi. I've been with US Code for now about 2.5 years.
Okay.
Started as a data engineer manager and now senior manager for data engineering, managing multiple aspects including data warehousing, data science, as well as now logistics applications and the ERP application and so on. So definitely multiple facets.
Okay. And what motivates you to build that infrastructure behind the data? The systems that people never see or ever really think about.
So the main motivation for us to really build this, and if you focus, let's say, just on the data warehouse aspect, right? Having curated data in our data warehouse is absolutely critical for us to do pretty much anything and everything that we are doing, any initiatives that we take based on the data.
Did you start in that role? Did they hire you to help with the data warehousing, or did that come later? Because I feel like we just started this journey.
Very interesting question. So when I started, yes, the primary function when I joined this company was to really help with the data warehouse. The way we had the data warehouse, we did have a data warehouse when I joined, but we didn't necessarily have the data warehouse the way we have it today, where we have data, some additional data coming from the various different sources as well. We didn't have the Medallion architecture. We didn't have real-time data. We didn't have a process to push the data from, or our processes from a development environment to a test environment to a production environment. So that whole CI/CD process did not exist. So we have come a long way from where I started to where we are today.
Yes, and it takes quite a few people. So how many people do you have on your team now?
So currently I have, I would say about 10 to 15 people full-time employees, as well as about 10 people contractors. So it's going about 20-25 people in my team.
And how many people are you looking to hire?
So at this point, it is a couple of additional data engineers and then a data scientist. We just hired a few people in my team, so which is great. So we are growing already. But yeah, we still have a few more additional resources that we need to fill.
So you talked about the criticality of the data warehouse and making sure that we have access to that data. Is that what motivates you?
Yes, because we just went live with the links, and what we observed is that yes, if we don't really have curated data, it doesn't really work. So it is paramount to necessarily have that curated data, right? So that's a lot of work, and it motivates us because if you really have curated data, you can really see the result. You can see the latest AI type of initiatives such as enterprise chat that we are building, where using enterprise chat, you can ask a simple question as, okay, how many appointments are there in this Bethlehem, in this warehouse, like let's say for today, and you are able to answer the question using the data warehouse. Again, for that to work, we need to have curated data in our data warehouse.
And just so you guys know, Lynx is our online visibility tool, and we just went live with it with select customers. So we're still kind of in the process of UX testing it now, but it'll be available to everybody by the end of this summer.
That's right.
Yes, and it's very important because it is real-time data. So you can look in and take a view of our warehouse management system and our transportation systems and see what's actually going on inside the warehouse.
And just to add a little bit more color to that real-time that you just mentioned, right? So you have actual warehouse management system, which is where the data gets created, right? And from there, we have a process to replicate that data from the warehouse management systems into our Snowflake environment using a third-party tool. So we replicate that data, and that's what we call as the bronze layer. We have the Medallion architecture, and the Medallion architecture talks about the bronze layer to the silver layer to the gold layer. From the bronze layer, then we have another process, a set of processes that brings that data into the silver layer, and that's also in real time. And we are trying to be as real time as possible, although we are talking about complex processes running, and that's not feasible to be able to run it in like a second or a couple of seconds, but we are trying to be as real time as possible. And then from the silver layer, once again, we have another set of processes to bring that data into the gold layer.
And so what uses the gold layer? What relies on that?
Correct. So the gold layer is really the layer that's going to be primarily used by our end users, used by our data scientists, for example. It's going to be used, and it supports our external applications such as the links that you just explained, as well as the gold layer is what is going to be used for us to be able to support any customer data needs. So that will become one place or one source of truth for us to be able to support any type of data needs downstream.
So when you see something in links or you see something from a data science perspective, you're actually seeing that gold layer.
That's absolutely
But
correct.
it takes multiple steps and transitions to get there.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
Exactly.
How do you keep data flowing cleanly and reliably when the operations, in essence, run 24 hours a day?
It's not an easy task for sure. And 24/7, obviously, we are not working 24/7. So we do have some offshore resources to be able to help with support during off hours, as well as for the weekends. Although that model is still evolving, and we had some people at the same time for the weekend hours, we don't necessarily have full support, and we are working towards really getting that support as well. Yes, I mean, we need support, at least monitoring of the key pipelines and making sure that nothing breaks, nothing stops, because again, we are talking about running this 24/7, right? So yes, we did have some blips here and there, but we didn't necessarily have any major breaks at this point yet.
Well, if you think about it, automation, I mean, it basically can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, provided that it doesn't have any issues. We have automated facilities that we have VNA in, we have ASRS in them. So what kind of challenges did that present to you guys from an engineering perspective?
Yeah, so we are still in the initial stages of really getting that data, right? So while I mentioned about the Medallion architecture, there is a lot more that we need to do beyond what we are focused on right now, which is just really getting the warehouse operations data, which what we are talking about as the warehouse management system. The automation system that you just mentioned, the VNA and everything, right? So the automation is really run in separate systems, and we don't really have that data integrated into our data warehouse yet, which is in our roadmap to really get that data. That said, I guess, yeah, it is some additional complexity there for us, it is just another source. And to your point, we need to have that support 24/7 as well, right? So if because our automation system is going to run 24/7, it's going to generate data 24/7. We need to make sure that we have the pipelines running 24/7 to continuously get that data into the data warehouse, into the bronze layer, to the silver layer, and to the gold layer, as I mentioned earlier.
Yes, it does sound like a lot of work. If we think about the cold chain, sometimes bad data can mean spoiled product or missed delivery. Has that reality ever changed how you approach a build?
Yes or no? I guess ultimately when we work with the data, yes, I mean, everything is important. Our business is important. But I say yes also because if it is a spoiled food, then obviously it really means that we are shipping spoiled food to our consignees without really knowing that the expiration date has already occurred, and we end up, let's say, shipping spoiled food, and that might end up in the user's table, right? The end users or the consumer's table, and that's not really going to be good. So it affects the reputation. It perhaps will affect the health of the human being who is perhaps consuming that food. So yes, it does affect, and it kind of adds one more level to the importance that we give with the type of work that we do, for sure.
So when you think about the people that you're looking for in these data engineering roles, do they need to have supply chain experience? Like, what kind of experience would you think is valuable?
Depending on the type of role, I would say yes, the supply chain experience definitely makes a big difference. When it comes to, let's say, you are doing an analysis of how the data comes or the data originates in our source applications, having an understanding of the warehouse management system and how the warehouse management system operates, how people use the warehouse management systems to be able to do their day-to-day operation, I guess it helps a lot, because that analysis is really how we then later define our data model within our data warehouse. So in those type of roles, absolutely it helps. But the pure data engineer role, which is really building the pipelines, perhaps you don't really need that much of experience. We are changing our mindset of the data engineers rather than just taking orders and saying, okay, we're just building this pipeline for what you are asking for, to more of a solution provider. And when we change that mindset, automatically we need to have a better understanding of the business. You can learn the business for sure. Obviously, day one, you're not going to come in here with already knowing about our business or already knowing about our industry. But that said, having that industry background and some knowledge about the warehouse management system is always added plus.
You talked about changing your mindset. Does AI factor into any of that? Like how you're thinking about AI and the role it's going to play for you guys?
Factors a lot into pretty much all the roles that I have in my team right now. So it doesn't matter whether you are doing analysis, you're doing the actual data engineering work, you're doing the data science work, you're doing the any of the other applications that you're supporting. Everywhere we are using AI substantially. In terms of really writing the code, we are using AI. Right? In terms of analyzing our source application, we are using AI. In terms of coming up with actual documents, we are using AI. Building our process flow, we are coming up with using AI. We are using GitHub Copilot, for example. We are using obviously our traditional Microsoft 365 Copilot. And we are open to use other AI tools such as Claude as well, right? So it is, I think we are big on pretty much using AI to be able to improve our productivity.
So you're getting better productivity because you're able to use these tools to help you along that journey that you're doing.
Right.
And the ultimate result is going to, I mean, you're going to have to validate it.
As a senior manager for this department, one of my primary goal is to make sure that, yes, I try to emphasize the use of AI more and more within my team and then show that we are able to produce more by leveraging AI.
Perfect. So it is really a productivity gain from you.
Absolutely.
You work alongside a lot of engineers. So what's different about working alongside engineers who genuinely understand that the data that they're moving actually represents something? Because in supply chain and cold chain, everything we do is very tangible. That's what makes it so appealing. It's like, hey, you saw it when it was from manufacturing. You touch a product and now it's in the grocery store. So does that make a difference in how you think about the roles?
Data engineers now understand more and more about exactly what they do and how that affects the overall business, right? So it is not just about, okay, now I have the data in our silver layer or gold layer, but now how that data gets used by our internal customers, or it could be how we are feeding that data externally to our external and providing to our customers. Knowing how the data gets used, it really makes a difference in terms of how data engineers think about the problem, right? So yeah.
And when you first came here, what attracted you about US Cold?
It's a very interesting question.
Thank you for listening to the Coldcast. Like and follow to hear part 2.